Hello, good morning. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Facebook Community Summit in Europe. I'm Nicola Mendelsohn. Yay! I'm so thrilled to welcome all of you here today. Now, here today because connecting people, connecting communities is really, really important to Facebook. And all of you, every single one of you, is building a meaningful community, whether it's around education or parenting, advocacy, or local neighborhoods. Now, over the last few years, we've had the opportunity to go out and be able to speak and really listen and learn from community builders. We've been able to hear your stories. And last year, we brought together community members from across the USA, over 100 different groups from 34 different states. But today we've got over 150 communities from all over Europe. Tell me who's here from Greece. Give me a wave. Give me a shout. Greece. Who's here from Finland? Woo! Turkey. Ireland. Latvia. All two of you. What about the UK? Few of you here. Couple of questions. I'm going to need a bit of audience participation here. How many languages do you think we speak together in this room? 50. Bold. Gone bold. Any other numbers? 60. 30. No, actually, it's 21. We haven't got that many languages in Europe. Another question. How many health groups do you think are in the room today? 8? 2? 9? 20? Actually, we've got 10. But it actually isn't about the numbers, because you don't need to tell me how important your community is to the people that are in them. And today you're going to hear from various people from Facebook talking about meaningful groups. And what is a meaningful group? Meaningful groups are about communities that have really become a vital part of people's daily lives. If you like, I think of it like a support system. A support system that helps people connect, yes, online, but also in the offline world as well. Maybe it's about helping somebody to find a job, or maybe it's about meeting up and going for a weekend run. I'm actually one of 200 million people that belongs to a group that gives encouragement and gives support. And I want to take a moment to tell you why that group is so personally important to me. And I'm telling it you not as somebody that works at Facebook, but really that someone's benefiting from a community that I'm actually helping to build as well. In 2016, I was diagnosed with follicular lymphoma. It's a common low-grade disease. It's non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And if you like, it's a slow-developing cancer of the white blood cells. I've had a year now to find out what it means, and it turns out that not all cancers are the same. But the hard thing about any cancer is your mind is always wondering, thinking about the things that should, or worrying about things, what may or may not happen. About 2 months after I was diagnosed, I thought I'd check on Facebook to see if there was a group. And it turns out there was. It was a fledgling group with a couple of hundred members in it. So I messaged the group admin, Nikki, and she got a message in her messenger box from someone at Facebook. She thought it was a joke. I don't know if some of you probably got a message from us as well and thought the same. But I managed to convince her I wasn't a joke, that I was a real person, and she agreed that I could become the co-admin of the group. Now, Nikki lives in Perth in Australia, and despite the time distance and the time zones, we've actually been in constant contact for over the last year. We work together to think about the questions that we see in the group, whether we should admit certain members, whether we should chuck members out, actually, if they maybe don't fit with the group's profile or break some of the rules. But also we think together about how we can innovate in the group and new things that we can do, like hosting live Q&A sessions with some of the top doctors in our field. And I'd actually never met her before. But she's here today. Nikki, where are you? Where are you, Nikki? Stand up, give everyone a wave. There she is. Nikki's my friend, and she and I admin a group that now has 4,000 members from over 90 countries, and at the rate at the moment, we're admitting about 50, 60 new members every week. It's been a massive help to me. It's my most meaningful group. It's a group where I share information. It's a group that supports me, that it understands me. It's a group where I have common ground that I wished I never would have dreamt of having and never wanted to have had. But actually, it's a group on which I've come to rely. Nikki, I'm so grateful to you for all that you've done for setting up the group in the first place, for being the amazing co-admin, and I know that all the members of our group just think you're the biggest rock star, so thank you. But I also know that all your members feel the same about all of you and the work that you do. So on behalf of all the members of all your groups, thank you for the incredible work that all of you have done. And it's touched me even more than this. The support we can provide each other in our day-to-day lives exists just not even on the online world, but also in the real world as well. In our group, one of our most vocal commenters and people active in the group is a guy called Barry Butler. And he lives in Miami. And at the time of the hurricanes last year, he put a note in the group where he said, just want to say thank you to everybody in the group. You've been my rocks, you've been my support. But actually, these storms coming, this hurricane's coming, and I don't think my house is going to survive it. So I actually don't know when I'm next going to be in contact with all of you. So you can imagine everybody in the group piled in and said, Barry, we're here for you, we'll support you, good luck, and hope it goes well. But one man in the group turned around and went, Barry, come and stay with me. Come and stay with me. Now, thankfully, Barry's home wasn't destroyed, but I think that shows the power of community. That's why we're here today. We can't wait to talk to you, to hear from you, to learn from you, to really understand what it is that inspired you to be able to create your community. Now, we've got a very exciting morning lined up, and it's going to be a chance to hear from some of us at Facebook, but also from some of you, your fellow community leaders as well. Now, it's now my privilege to be able to introduce you to our Chief Product Officer, to Chris Cox. He works directly with Mark Zuckerberg, and he's come over here, traveled here especially to share some very exciting news. So please give it up for Chris Cox. Thank you.
All right, how's everybody doing? Okay, welcome to London, everybody. This is one of my favorite cities in the world. It's a city of immense cultural import. It's a place where hundreds of communities reside, where over a dozen languages are spoken. And so in some sense, it's the perfect city for us to talk about what we're talking about today, which is how do we build tools and digital places that we can help bring people together on any device, in any language, in any country, for any kind of community to meet their unique needs. 2017 was a really tough year for Facebook, for social media, and for the internet. We faced tough questions about our role in democracy, our role in public discourse, our role in journalism, our role in well-being. And we take these questions incredibly seriously. We're coming this year to do two things. The first is to remove this bad content from our platform. To do that, we have our best teams internally, partnered with world experts externally, working through each of the categories of issues to make sure that we can ensure that Facebook is a safe place for everyone. And the second thing we're doing is to accentuate all the good things that are happening. That's to build tools that come from the daily good of just hanging out with friends and family, but also the more rare and intense good that comes from what you all are doing, which is bringing people together to support a unique need. When I started at the company, this is what the Facebook looked like. It was 2005. It was a college directory service, and that was it. There was no news feed, there was no video, there were no like buttons, there was no commenting, and it was only available to a handful of people. People forget that this wasn't actually a service for sharing things with your friends. It was actually a community service. It was a service for seeing who was around you at your college, and among that, the groups, the sports teams, the extracurriculars, etc., to just see who else was there and to have conversations with them. And so I like to think that community software is actually the roots of where we came from. Now, when we built our first big new feature, which was Newsfeed, it looked like this. This is September 2006. And just a few days after that, something very interesting happened, which was the very first group started forming with over 1 million people in them. And this was insane because there were only 10 million people on the service. The first group with over 1 million people was called Students Against Newsfeed. Now, we had a very engaged population, and they wanted a bunch of features added that we hadn't built yet. This was a group telling us that, in no uncertain terms, that we had work to do. But it was a place that we could go as the engineers and engage with the people and give them a lot of the things they wanted. But the second and third largest groups were groups raising awareness about humanitarian issues. And these groups were also over 1 million people. One was about the violence in West Sudan. The second was raising money for breast cancer. And this is when there were only 10 million college students on the service, but it told us that there was something special that could happen with the combination of groups and having people together online that let people come together around things that they felt but wanted to organize around. And that's sort of where a lot of what we're talking about today came from. Then some more niche things started to happen, like in ichthyology, the study of fish. We heard a story from a professional ichthyologist who went to the Guyana River Basin as part of the Amazon River. He collected 5,000 fish specimens, but because of his visa, he needed to leave the country in a couple days. He couldn't bring the fish with him unless he could label every single one. Now, how was he going to do that? He decided to post a photo album, one photo of each fish, on Facebook, and ask his friends, who happened to be the rest of the community of ichthyologists, to help. Sure enough, almost all of the 5,000 fish were labeled in 48 hours, and he was able to return home with the fish so that he could study them. This is just one of the kind of incredible stories of things that go way beyond what we can imagine, that have to do with the power of networks of people that are brought together around a specific idea with a specific interest. There's a few people I want to call out today in the audience who I got a chance to meet last night who traveled from far and wide, just as an example of some of the amazing things that are going to be built here. First is the Healthy Sisters from the Netherlands. Can you stand up? They told me that they tried every single possible kind of diet in order to lose weight and were frustrated that none of them worked and they all felt really, really bad. So they created a new way of thinking about eating focused on mindset, and they now have a community of over 10,000 people doing exactly the same thing. Congratulations. Is Maria here from Supergirls Tel Aviv? Hi, Maria. Maria was a new mother, up in the wee hours. I can relate to this as a new parent, wanting people to connect with and have conversations. She now runs a group of over 90,000 Israeli women who come together and vote on which hard conversations they want to have each day and each week. It's become a pretty amazing movement. Congratulations. We have Christian from the Wanted community in Paris. He told me he's from Bordeaux. You arrived in Paris, didn't know a lot of people and didn't know how to navigate the city, find an apartment, find places to eat. Started a group for young people to share their experiences and come together. The group now has over 400,000 members. Christian is their celebrated leader, navigating through life in Paris, and now another group in Bordeaux. Congratulations, Christian. And we have Trude from A Drop in the Ocean, Norway. Trude describes herself as an ordinary woman who grew concerned about the Syrian refugee crisis in Greece and went to go build a group and help with refugee camps to create an award-winning group to aid the Syrian migration into Greece and to help those folks find a home. Thank you, Trude. A truly touching story. So what is a community? We asked a bunch of people who've studied communities in academia to help us define it, because it's kind of a big word. And this is what they told us, and you probably all know this already. It's a collection of people who give trust and investment over time, receive a sense of belonging, meaning it's a place they feel at home, a connection, meaning it's connected to their own identity, and a feeling of safety, which is often provided and seen when people can say things in a place that they can't say otherwhere, even to their friends. Armed with this knowledge, we took our first community summit together in Chicago just last year, and we were able to hear for the first time from a group of leaders of all different kinds of groups in one place. And we heard very consistently that there were 3 areas that we need to improve upon and make our services better for you all to do what you're trying to do. The first is integrity and safety. We announced last year that we're going to be doubling in 2018 the size of the content review team, which are the content experts that study things that are reported, whether it's hate speech, whether it's bullying, whether it's harassment, so that they can take them down and make sure that there isn't any of this kind of content on our platform. That's going from 10,000 to 20,000 people worldwide. We also announced that we're doubling the size of the tools team. These are engineers here in London, the folks who build tools to make it easy to moderate content and also to proactively take it down once we've seen the patterns of behavior. Hopefully this will help all of you keep your groups safe and free of fake accounts and other bad actors. The second thing is to build more features that help groups interact on our service. Just a few weeks ago, we announced Watch Party, which is something we're starting to roll out. It enables co-watching of a video. It's sort of like inviting a bunch of friends over to your house to watch a movie, except that you can invite thousands or hundreds of people in a group to come together and see the same frame of the video at the same time on any device, then have a conversation about it with very low latency so that they're participating in real time. So maybe if you're a cooking group, you want to watch this new Anthony Bourdain show, this feature will let you start to bring people together so that media, rather than being a passive experience, can be something that people are seeing at the same time. We've also learned a lot that the most important ingredient for making these groups work, the difference between the big ones that nobody's paying attention to and the big ones that are extremely important, is you, the leader. That is the most important difference between a successful group and a barren one. We learned in our Chicago summit that leaders need unique tools so that they can spend more of their time attending to the people and less time attending to the ins and outs of the group. This is Barbara from Carnival Cruise Lines Group. She leads an avid community of cruisers who plan travel together, and then when they get on the ship, they each decorate each other's doors. She's clearly a very enthusiastic leader. So we're going to announce 2 sets of things today that are brand new and very exciting. The first is a program to help fund, find, identify, and grow community leaders worldwide. It's called the Facebook Community Leadership Program, and I'm excited to announce it right now. There's 2 parts to this. The first is going to be 5 $1 million awards that we give to the highest, biggest impact ideas that we can find from leaders around the world, focused on catering to unique communities with unique needs. Once we find these folks, we'll fly them out to Menlo Park to meet with our product teams for 5 weeks to tell us what to build to make the tools better. The second is $150,000 prizes, which will be awarded to leaders focusing on unique initiatives. This is going to be $10 million going directly to community leaders and tens of millions of dollars overall in training, support, and tools for the next generation of leaders. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And the second is 4 new features based on what we've heard from you are the most important things that we can give you to help make the group software on Facebook better for getting your work done. The first is an admin tools hub. This will take the 6 or 7 most important things that you do to keep the membership good, to keep the discourse strong inside of your group, and bring them together in one place, which should streamline the workflow of what you do day to day as an administrator. We've heard how important it is that these are easier to use and faster to use, and so we've gone ahead and streamlined the whole thing. The second is group announcements. We've heard from many of you that it's important that you can organize a bunch of posts on top of the group as the administrator. You get it. These can be scheduled so that they appear at certain times. You can put a bunch of announcements up there. They're really nice and rich. They load quickly. They work on any device. Hopefully this will help you tell the story that you need to tell at the top of your group. Then we have personalization. This will give you the chance to set a theme and a color for your group to make it feel more like your own. That won't just appear on top, it'll appear throughout the group. We've recently updated the design of the groups page so that there's a full bleed cover image on top, and then you have the members right underneath it, so it feels a little bit more human, simple, clean, and hopefully like a space that is uniquely yours and you can set a culture and a color and a tone for. And last, rules. We've heard from so many of you that so much of your job is setting the rules and keeping the rules maintained. So to honor this, we're giving rules a special space inside of the group's experience where you can put them and post them in a structured way. You can also show them to members on their way into the group so that rules are a part of the user experience that everybody has when they're visiting. Yeah. These all came from the conversations that our teams are out having with you all, and our commitment is to keep building roadmaps for our product teams that are coming from the most important needs from you. Because what we've learned is that the people in this room and the people like you are the ones that are important to literally more than about 200 million people who are in meaningful groups on Facebook. So we're really excited to have you here today. We're on a mission together, which is to help make these tools and these communities more useful for more people. We really appreciate you making the trip out here. So let's have a great day. Thanks, everybody.